This is where I like to state that Krieger doesn't like picking normal chairs.
I want something to scare me! Scare me! Yeah, I just feel like... Goodbye.
You're fine. It's a cutout. Sit down. Hello, everyone. This is MykeCheck'd 95 along with my cohort.
Krieger Margin 1.
As he makes it painfully obvious that we're doing a different setup. As we go along with all of our content, bear with us with the several changes that we're going to do, but I'll make this short and sweet. We're making some changes with the quality and the content, kind of. We are now into another night of October Horrorfest with our friends, Jason and Jerry.
What's he say?
Beep bop boop bitty bop boop.
So, this is our third film of the year of Horrorfest. I want to say that this is going to be the one film that's going to make you question everything. What movie did we watch?
We watched Midsommar Salamander.
Midsommar, or he can't really pronounce it. It's one of those A24 films. I'm gonna get this out there right now because this is my general mindset of it. A24 films are either going to be really good and you understand what's going on, or you're going to be confused and or unsettled and or both at the same time and just be like, what the fuck did I just watch?
I didn't feel confused at all by this film. I felt disappointed by this film. It opened strong. I loved how unsettling it was and uneasy throughout the movie. They kept that, but I don't think it delivered well. And we've kind of had a common theme so far in Horrorfest. 2 of the 3 movies are very slow with not good payoff. I thought going into this, the premise and looking at the reviews and everything, I thought I was going to give this around an 8. It did not land there whatsoever. So anyway, so before we go into that, I'm going to go ahead and deep dive into our stats. So the critics give this film an 8.3, and audience puts it at 6.3. So their budget was actually $9 million. And their box office did $47.86 million versus $9 million. So it did okay. I've seen Resident Evil was like 150 to 40. So they didn't spend very much on this movie. So I'm going to go over some of the things I liked about this film first, what I don't like, and I'm going to give my review. And I'm going to talk about some things that I noticed that was funny. It didn't pan out like I thought. I didn't write this down, but I really, really enjoyed that they had some stuff that I kind of knew about Norse, like mythology and things that they did through playing mainly Assassin's Creed. But the Blood Eagle was cool. They had some stuff in that game that did that. I really liked that they incorporated that. The Wicker Man is another thing that has good history. I was looking this up earlier. There's not a whole lot of records of them actually doing the Blood Eagle. There's only 2 instances in North history that they had wrote down that it happened, and it was both times that the Jarls or son of Jarls killed their. It was sons of Jarls killed their Jarl so they could advance in their system. So it was the sons killing the fathers, and they've only did it with 2 specific people in history, but kind of Western culture has. Oh, that's cool. They did it all the time when they actually didn't. Which, for you guys that didn't see the movie or don't know, because they didn't explicitly explain it, that's where the rib cage is broken with a sharp tool, and your lungs are pulled out your back and makes it look like there's wings, and they don't kill you. It does not kill you when you do this.
You're like slowly bleeding out to death.
It's like crucifixion, but much worse. And something about organs being outside of your body is scary. So
this entire movie was unnerving.
Yeah. So back on track.
And confusing.
This whole movie was on easy. It had a really good cast. At first, I wrote Uneasy Open, and then I just changed it to Uneasy Movie because this whole movie throughout, from beginning to end, made me feel uncomfortable. From the beginning of the audio to the end when she's smiling at her boyfriend being sacrificed.
I would say a warning out there for people who are very sensitive to very sensitive subjects. This is not the movie for you.
This actually shows suicide, so if you have issues with that,
this is not the movie for you. So sorry.
It was brutal, and it's nice to see that because most of as a horror fan, because most of the time they don't show things like that, like somebody jumping off the cliff and their head hitting a slab and their face breaking.
To clarify, he's not meaning like, oh yeah, that was fucking cool to watch. It's like, it's more like if you're trying to make the film scary and unnerving, they did the right things.
Yeah, for
those who can handle it.
From a horror standpoint, not as a humanitarian.
Humanitarian. We're clarifying, he's not an evil man.
I'm sorry. I like that this was cultish going into it because you kind of have that uneasy feeling still that, this is not going to go well. Like, this is not going to be a good vacation. I don't know why, but I don't know. Whenever he gave her the candle for her birthday, and he had trouble lighting it, that was good metaphor, I guess, not symbolism, with their relationship for me. Because this whole thing in the description says that their relationship is foundering. So that they're trying to reignite the spark by doing this, and it might have helped. But he's just trying. Like, they're both trying, but they both are very unhappy. So they're trying, and it just doesn't work.
This film made you wonder, like, just based off the two main characters, like, who was in the right and who was in the wrong? Like, I mean, to a certain point near the end, you just kind of just throw everything out the fucking window and just say, okay, this is what's happening. But it's just like the first half of the film, it's like, is she the one causing the problems, or is he's the one causing the problems? And like for me, you can't really say who the blame is 100% on, because they're both guilty.
And sometimes in a relationship, it's not necessarily the fact that one person's causing problems or the other person's causing problems. Sometimes people aren't right for each other, and that's what I really felt like. They were together for a long time. They might have been in love at one point, but like it was not a healthy relationship at all. I'm going to discuss my negatives about this film. This film is extremely slow. I wrote slow build-up, but then I crossed it out and said, this is a slow fucking movie and I hate it. Austin Powers reference?
Yeah, that was like complete left field for me.
It made me so angry. The whole thesis thing was fucking stupid. That pissed me off.
That was like a reason to get them there.
No, not that. When the one dude said, hey, I'm thinking I want to do the thesis here too, and the dude gets upset. It's like, are you fucking 4? I just disliked the fact that like they were getting territorial about doing that. Like, if he did it, he couldn't do it, and then like just 10 minutes later, they're like, yeah, you guys can both do it, and then they're like, oh, okay, we're cool, and then they killed him off anyways in like the next scene. So there was no need for that at all. The chances of winning the dance off, that was, first of all, it's unfair because she can't speak Swedish, but because she's doing drugs. There are studies where sometimes people know languages that they can't while they're tripping. So that helps. But like all these other people know the customs and they're prepared for this, and she's never done this before. I really did not like the awkward sex. Not even the awkward sex with all the people surrounding him.
I told him this during the movie, and I'm telling him this now just so that you guys know on record, and he even said this in the review. He can no longer give Friday the 13th, 2009 any more shit for its long and awkward sex scene because of this movie. Because every time he does, I'll just look at him and say the name of this movie, and then we will end the discussion.
Anyways.
Am I right?
My problem was the dude with the chick.
Christian? Christian?
Nope, not Christian. The friend, the Sweden friend that brought them all down there.
Oh.
How he was trying to get he had a love stone that he put under his bed, trying to get the chick to fall in love with him, and then he just randomly kissed her. After the ceremony was over.
It's a lot of mind games.
She didn't want that at all, and he kept forcing it. And it was fucking weird. Even when she sat down, she was upset, but about something else. He was like, "My parents died too." I was like, "I'm not upset about that." It influenced, but she was not talking about that. And he was trying to relate and go like, "Do you feel safe with him?" It's like, this is fucking weird. That was more weird than the chick giving her pubes and piss to that guy.
The sister was doing the same thing to Christian too, and whatnot.
Yes, but I don't know. It was just a little bit more weird with the chick. With the dude, he was just, I don't know. Maybe it's chicks versus dudes being put on. Like, the whole thing was not good.
It's so.
But
this whole movie. This whole movie.
It touched on some subjects and made you feel. I didn't like the Wickerman ending.
Some subjects.
Some subjects.
Some. You mean all?
I felt like the ending was predictable as hell. For me, like you said with these studios, they're supposed to have complex things, but as soon as they said, "Oh yeah, don't go, you can't go into this building, it's forbidden," and I was like, "Oh, that's where they're gonna sacrifice people." And towards the end of the movie, it felt like the opening for this movie that had her entire backstory was completely pointless, for character development wise. Other than maybe at the end, it caused her a psychotic break, being happy that she lost literally everything in her life. She has no family now. Her boyfriend she just killed, basically. I don't know where she goes from here with her life, but apparently she's happy because she's smiling. She's the new queen, I guess, covered in flowers. So that's all of my positive negatives. I had a quote.
So we're just gonna ignore the bear then?
It's a bear.
And I was hoping that was going to be something funny where the bear eats somebody later like a sacrifice, but instead, Christian goes inside of a bear. Becomes man bear. I have 2 ratings for this. My first rating is the overall rating for a movie. I give this a solid 5.0 because I feel like this is exactly like 1922 for me. This isn't a bad movie. This isn't a good movie. It's too long and drawn out for not enough reward. There's nothing in here that makes me say this is a bad movie. Acting, quality, anything like that. It's just they didn't deliver. This is a scary factor. Not as a horror movie overall, but how much I was actually scared at all during this movie. 10 being absolutely terrified. I'm going to have nightmares about this. 1 being I'm not remotely scared at a single juncture in this film, and this doesn't feel like a horror movie. I'm rating this as a 1. This movie was not scary at all. It was a little unsettling, but it wasn't scary. Even the Swedish people, even though they were doing all these really bad things for me, they weren't actually, like, intimidating. Like, oh, fuck. I think if Rob Zombie would have directed this and it would have been Woods people, then I would have been like, okay, that's a really scary idea. But the Swedish people, it was almost calming the way that they were with their sacrificing, that even if I was there, even though you're going to die, I felt more relaxed about it because it was customary. It wasn't like some random hillbilly in the middle of nowhere that has no teeth that wants to eat my fucking balls or something. So that's my thoughts on the movie. May disagree, but
I really don't have much to say about this movie because you've covered a lot of the points that I wanted to bring up. It wasn't really horrifying. It was horrifying for like all the wrong reasons for me, I think. Like, yes, like some of the subject matter and some of the other stuff that is usually very sensitive for some people, yes, that can be horrifying and everything. As a horror movie itself, just branching out on just the horror aspect, it was, I don't know, like, I feel like I'm regurgitating the same thing I said in 1922. On paper, it sounds good, but when they, record it, like as we're doing now, and I'm epically failing on a lot of things, it gets lost. Something just doesn't work right, and you're just like, okay, well, we'll just do that. I felt a little bit more satisfied with the ending of 1922 than this one.
Yeah, this one, both of us, I looked at you, I looked at me, we're like this. Like, peering forward, like, this, what? Like, her smiling, that made me physically angry.
For me, like, for you, it was angry. For me, it was just, like, the culmination of the unsettling, unnerving feeling, the ultimate, this was like when I say this movie is confusing, It's not that I don't understand what's going on. I understand what's going on in this movie. It's just like...
The logic of the people.
It is... dumbfounding. Like I said in the beginning, you're either going to really enjoy this film and it's going to be really good because it's an A24 film, or you're just not going to get it. And this is the side of the coin I'm on. There's a deeper meaning that is not connecting with me on this movie, which I understand that some people will get this and we're not getting it, but I am... Some of the sounds, like not the soundtrack, but just the... I didn't like... It was some of it's just... The wailing, the crying, the moaning. It's just there were some sounds in this film that I know that's just how they were doing the sounds because it's acting, but I don't know if that...
It worked.
I don't want to say that was fake crying or bad crying because I can't really per se on that, but it was...
It didn't sound like believable crying for me. That's why I didn't like it, because it was really cringy. I've seen some movies where there's some crying happening, like painful crying where you just lost a loved one, or in her case, her entire family. And there's wailing pain that makes you really feel down to your soul that broke that person. And if she did that correctly, that would have been a really powerful scene. But she sounded like a dying seal. And it didn't even sound like a consistent dying seal. It sounded like they had a 2-second soundbite of that dying seal and they just played it on loop.
Stretched it out.
Like...
Gonna have to put it at like a 5.2, just in general. Because there was like... I liked it for the fact that it actually made me feel unnerving to a point. But there's also the point to where like you can make someone feel so unnerved of something to where they don't enjoy it. And I almost got to that point on this movie. A24. You do make good movies, but you also make very confusing ones. Especially a flashback to 2016. I wish I still had the clip. But, remember the Vivitch with nipple picking? Nipple picking. So yeah, the next film that we're going to cover is going to be Hereditary. You have...
AIDS.
What?
AIDS.
Back with Gerald, and we watched our second film, which we later found out that it was another A24 film. I actually own this film, Hereditary. I'm gonna let you go first with your notes, and I'm just gonna give my thoughts because I've seen this film before. I have a review of this film up on the channel from last year.
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go over the financials for the movie. This had a budget of $10 million, and they made $80.2 million. So they made a little bit. Critics put this at an 8.9, and the audience put it at a 6.8. So overall, they thought it was a really good movie. This is a movie. I'm not going to go through my notes because I'm angry.
You're that angry?
Yes, at this film. Okay, and not only because it's bad.
Is this gonna be a Krieger tangent?
Not only because it's bad. It's so bad that after I checked out of the movie, they added more layers that I'm not even going to go through the energy of digging through the layers of what they tried to make a good movie.
The cult paganism bullshit?
Yes, and then connecting it with her... This movie exhausted my soul from stretches between the characters, between the story, the acting, the absent father but caring father, the convenient plot point. Let me see if there's anything.
Remember what I said? If you need to say a certain word or two, I have a bleeping noise.
I couldn't stand the fucking stupid ass kid, and my favorite part of the movie is when the stuck her head out the window and got her head cut off. That was amazing because her face annoyed me so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the power of editing.
The bird scene was good. When the girl had psychic fucking powers and caused a bird to hit the window, and then she went out during recess to cut the bird's head off
With a pair of scissors.
with a pair of school scissors, but that's cool. And then she went to go. There wasn't even like an altar or any. I hate this movie. This movie makes me terribly angry. The crying, in contrast to the other movie. The crying from the mom after she found the kid dead, that was good. She did a good cry, and that made me feel for her. I kind of like that the mom went midway through the film. I was like, hey, this mom seems like kind of crazy. Just when she talked about the rest of her family, how they were crazy, I was like, wow, this might end up to be a good concept. But then next thing you know, she's possessed, flying through space in the room for no reason. You could have just stood in the fucking corner.
Headbutting the attic door without touching the ground at all.
You know a horror movie is bad when I'm fucking laughing at what should be the scariest parts in the movie. Mike said, oh no, this is the most uneasy part. And you'd think it's uneasy, but the way they did it looked really bad and cheesy that I was laughing at her sawing her own head off. It was slow again, third slow movie in a row. Why would the husband... Okay, the husband would lie to keep the tension off. But no, that's stupid. That's stupid. And the husband seemed like a good guy, and he wouldn't be doing stupid things like that. They did that for plot. She's a bad mom for letting the little kid go out to a party. She's socially, that's really bad for that. Oh, my favorite social interaction in this entire movie, because they do have some cliche high school bullshit. The friend texted them about the party, and he said, bro, there's a big party. Bring your dick. As if he was going to leave his dick at home. When the kid did get the younger sister killed, instead of calling the cops, like a logical person would do, he just drove home. And he didn't tell his parents. He just went to bed and just let them go out and find it themselves, so they're even more traumatized. And that he can take no responsibility, and they can naturally blame him for something even worse. Because it would have been less bad for them if he would have called the cops, and then they could have made the face look all pretty kind of next to her body when they have to identify the body. Instead, it was on the highway all night and was being eaten by bugs. So, on a scary factor, this is a 1. On a movie factor, this is a 3. I hate this movie.
I don't remember my actual score that I gave this film previously. It was a very short review. I think my second viewing of this film, I feel like, from my experience, kind of hurts the film for me. Because if I gave this film a high rating before, it's a lot lower now. I mean, my issue is that, for one, how did we land on not only 2 A24 movies, but both cultist, slow-paced A24 movies? And he didn't plan this at all. He just threw a couple movies in a box and said, these movies seem like they work together. And somehow we had a common theme on 3 different things. Ain't that right, Gerald? I don't really have any thoughts to share other than this movie could have been so much better if they would have taken out all of the cultist, paganism, seancing, possession, all of that shit. If they would have took all of that out and just focused on the mental illness, hence the name of the film Hereditary. If it was all focused on mental illness, and they would have shaped the ending a bit better to fit with the theme of mental illness instead of just making it some weird cultist bullshit, I feel like it would have been a whole lot better. Because this film is like trying to express the signs and the concerns about mental illness, but not really in a way that I would say is entertaining per se. I'm gonna have to go with like a 4.5. So this is the end of our, I guess, unplanned A24 cultist slow burning movie theme night that again was not planned. So what's the next movie night again?
We will be watching Train to Busan and Underground or something like that.
You said killing something. Killing Floor?
Killing Ground. It's Killing Ground and Train to Busan.
Killing Ground and Train to Busan. Are they both foreign films?
I know Train is. I don't know about Killing Ground.
Well, I guess we will find out the next time you shall see us. This is MykeCheck'd 95 along with my cohort.
Krieger Margin 1.
And always ask the questions, why not? And who with? And don't watch the movie.